Hello. Welcome to Play Ratings. Today, Lou and I were talking about the 1-1 draw at. Is it still St. Mary's? Lou? It is, right?
Yeah.
The old Dell. Where Lou, T, and D got to see the game. So, Louis, how was the game yesterday? In your eyes?
Yeah, it was a good day out. T's first away game. Had quite a few people come up to us, and there was especially excited to meet T.
That's nice.
T met my dad, all my lot that go. He was fully embraced. He had pints. Yeah, he had it all. He had a chicken booty pie. Yeah, it was just a bit of a shame about the end result, but he got to see a last minute Franca goal,
Exactly.
which is very rare in itself.
Never happened before. You can say I was there. You can always say I was there for that first France. Limbs 1-1 draw, etc. Appreciate everybody's support.
The only thing about at Southampton, the away end, they've got complete safe standing, so no limbs.
Yeah, I watched a vlogger from Southampton. I saw he's right next to the away fence. So I saw how it looks. So very interesting setup they have over there. So appreciate everybody's support again. We're very close to 6,000 subscribers. If you could please let your friends know, your family friends know, Palace Point friends. We're on the road to 10,000, which would be brilliant for a channel like us. So if you can do that, that'd be great. But we appreciate it. Before we get into the game, I actually have a couple of interesting. I'll add this to the stage right here. The match. Now, I remember you and I talking about the importance of winning your battles, who'd have the most possession, etc. So very quickly, Lou, look at the numbers. Number of passes, we dominated. Possession, dominated. Accurate passing, dominated. Tackles won, 13 to their 4. Ground duels won, 35 to their 32. The stats are very interesting. What I will give credit to Southampton is nothing to lose, came out, played really hard, battled in the center of the field, got the ball to their key players like
Sulemana.
Name again.
Onuachu.
Name again? No, not him. The midfielder kid, Matheus.
Fernandez.
Excellent little player, 20-year-old kid. Very good. So they did, and again, they got the early goal. I remember you mentioned, I'll give you credit, during the people. You said, what would happen if he gave, an early goal away? Well, how do we respond? Luckily, we got the draw. But what are your thoughts as far as, seeing it in person? I'm sure you didn't watch it back. It's not worth watching back. But what are your thoughts actually watching the game as far as how Southampton competed?
I thought they were clearly the team who hadn't played in 3.5 weeks. I don't think they are. They must have international players, but I doubt there's loads, and I doubt all of them are starters for their international teams as well.
Right.
So also, I think an underrated or thing that might go under the radar is they're so bad, but these players are playing for moves. They don't want to go down with Southampton. They want to stay in the Premier League. They want to get moves to Serie A, La Liga.
Yep.
So there's gonna be a level that they're gonna be at, because no one wants to go down to the Championship, because, as people know, I don't know if everyone knows, most players in their contract will have their wages halved, or definitely a percentage will be cut once you go down, once you're relegated from the Premier League
clause. Yep.
So yeah, that those are important things. So yeah, it was a poor game. I think we lacked quality. We also looked like remember I spoke about, it's a different sort of mentality to win at Fulham, then go again on a Wednesday night at Southampton.
Right.
And maybe in hindsight, he should have made some changes, but you live and you learn. And sometimes I think being brought down to earth was an important thing, especially going into the Brighton game as well. Another win, we might have all been there might have not been areas that we might have looked at because we won again. So yeah, listen, this is the best time to ever be a Palace fan. You won't ever hear me any moaning. Funny thing is, I had to have a go at a guy behind me who was shouting non-stop in my ear, and then end up saying, and then started ridiculing Eze, and it's just like ridiculous people like that the fan base that ruin it. But yeah, man, I was just really that T got to enjoy the game.
I'm so happy for him. I mean, I watched a little bit of the should I say this? I did, of the Brighton preview, and he was talking about how he wanted to watch the warm-ups because obviously he's never seen that before. So stuff like that, little thing that you take for granted, right? As a sport, you go to every match or you go to a lot of matches. So I'm happy for him. I really am. I'm glad he's getting to experience that. You make a great point before you jump into the individual ratings. You make a great point about you were talking about down to earth and changes. We're going to get into the changes because I honestly don't think he could have made that many changes. And I'll tell you the reason why I'm going to say it real quick is Richards and Hughes not being available makes it difficult to make additional changes on top of those two. But you're right. I think down to earth part is a good thing because I think some of our fan base are a little bit too giddy. But for me, the old Palace, quote unquote, would have lost that game.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with the point. So let's jump into it actually. So we'll start with Dean Henderson. We both gave him a 5. Faced 2 shots, gave up a goal. Passing was okay. Actually, for him, very good. 16 out of 21. Long passing, not as good. 1 out of 6. But I have a couple of criticisms of him. So while I was waiting for you to come on, I did a little research. For me, it's a good header by Anawachu, but he has to save that for me. I think he's got to do better. Now, you can say, oh, it was a good header, and it was. But if you're facing 2 shots in a game, Louis, and you're making 1 save, let's be honest, man. He's had a good season, but when he's actually had a great game. So the reason I say that is look at these stats. Chelsea away, 6 saves. We got the 1-1 draw. Man United at home, 0-0. He had 7 saves. Brighton away, we won 3-1 own goal. He had 5 saves. And Leicester away, we won 2-0. He had 4 saves. Those are the most amount of saves he had entire season. 4, 5, 6, and 7. Most games, by the way, he faces like 1 or 2 shots. So for me, I am not criticizing Dean Henderson, but I remember telling you this during one of our earlier shows this week. He has to come up bigger for us to win this cup. And for me, I'm not worried, but he doesn't do enough right now for me to be a keeper that I think could take us to where I need us to be. So, but anyway, that's me just kind of riffing. What's your thoughts on Dean Henderson?
I think when we was talking about it in the Southampton preview about some of our weaknesses, and it's not a weakness, it's just maybe not one of our strengths. And Henderson, I definitely think he should have saved it. I said it straight away. It's in the center of the goal, and Ramsdale has a harder one about 10 minutes later from Mateta, where Mateta's shooting low, and that's probably harder because Henderson has time to adjust when he knows Onuachu's going to win that header, and it's probably going to go back across goal. So but I've definitely, Dino's been great. He's got a great relationship with the back 3, back 5. I'm just going to put it down to just an all-round poorer performance from the team. But you are right. To win the FA Cup, we will need a colossal performance at some stage.
I agree.
Even a penalty shootout win as well.
Anything, right?
You go through like most finals. Like there's always a moment where a keeper really keeps someone in the game. Like one that stands out is like the Champions League final when Dudek saved from Shevchenko point blank. So if you go through every final, there's normally Thibaut Courtois against Liverpool when Real Madrid beat them 1-0. Normally a lot of the time your keeper has to be either a hero or like an unsung hero to a certain extent.
Emi Martinez World Cup right against France.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So there you go. And we got to face him. Anyway, let's move on to Danny Munoz. I gave him a 6, gave him a 5. Why don't you go first? I want Danny Munoz.
I think 5 is probably the average of what most of the team were. The things that I've said in the past about Danny Munoz that frustrates me was clear to see yesterday. I think one of the most frustrating patterns of play yesterday was that Klein 5-yard pass to Munoz. It was just a nothing ball, and then he was kind of trying to hook it round, or the Sarr deep run when Munoz got it, he kept over hitting it or passing it straight to their defender. But yeah, he's played a lot of football, so I'm not going to be here slating him at all. He's probably ran the most out of everyone and flown the most air miles and played the most minutes. So, no complaints from me. Just a bad day at the office.
Yeah, I gave him a slightly higher rating, and you're right. He definitely was leggy. He didn't get as forward as much as he has in the past, but I thought he did well passing, 23 out of 28. Was subbed off, and for the cross, I'm not really sure. Onuachu is definitely not his man, but he was there. So, but I'm not blaming him for that, obviously. But I thought he had an okay game. I don't think he was really that bad. I don't think he was very good going forward. But again,
I think 20 those 23 passes that he made were probably backwards to Klein. Yeah,
possibly. T. Mitchell. I gave him a 6.5. He gave him a 5. I'll go very quickly. In the first half, he was perfect passing, 20 out of 20. By the end of the match, he ended up at 92%, 24 out of 26. He was taken off for Chilwell. Get to him later, by the way. 2 blocks, 5 recoveries. I thought versus Ward-Prowse.
Fernandez.
Wrong. No, Fernandez, and I was going to say KWP. Walker Peters. It was decent. I wrote down. That's why I wrote down KWP as that's why I said that. Anyway, never mind. Ward-Prowse. He blocked the early Fernandez shot over the bar, which is important. He played that ball into Mateta for that shot off the bar. So I thought T was pretty decent yesterday. But what are your thoughts on Mitchell?
Yeah, he was. The thing is, Mitch, you saw night and day. Like you said, we'll get to Chilwell. Mitchell doesn't get beat 1v1. And Mitchell can't, and Chilwell was beat, I think, at least 3 times
in a very short amount of time too.
Yeah. Mitchell, he doesn't give anyone any change, but that whole going 1-0 down thing, that's when you need a flying wing back, and that's just our team's not perfect. Glasner has us set up in a certain way because there's limitations, and like we said, Mitchell's not randomly just gonna start flying and doing step overs and going around the back. But what he did against Fulham is what we can expect. Maybe get yourself higher without having to carry the ball, get yourself into higher positions, good first touch, and get good passes into the players that can do damage. I think yesterday Eze didn't really help Mitchell because he was quite poor. But yeah, 5 is probably a bit harsh. He probably could have been a little bit higher for his defensive work. I think the goal came from across from his side, but that was because Eze done a little flick. So
right.
Not really his fault there. But again, another player who plays every minute. So how can we expect such great output all the time? We can't.
Fair enough. Let's go with the first centre back, and that's Nathaniel Klein. Came in for Chris Richards. But I'll let you go first. We both gave him a 5. So your thoughts on Nathaniel Klein?
The worst thing is he's just playing to the best of his ability. This is why I can't slate him, really. But the best of his ability is probably League One, upper League One, lower Championship level. It's just not it. He's a target for the press. He's not great in the air. He's got a little bit of pace. He's terrible at throw-ins, by the way. He's always been since he was young.
That's funny.
He doesn't have he can't play a ball in behind. In hindsight, I definitely would have preferred Lerma to play there, and I would have played Kamada. In hindsight, but I was calling for Klein to just slot in because I didn't think Southampton could pose that much of a threat. But although I was a bit worried about Sulemana, who actually did tear him to bits every time they went 1v1.
Right.
But yeah. I'm no complaints. It's Klein. What do we expect? He's like a 34 years old.
33, just to correct you. I didn't want to.
33.
Yeah, I'm just. Yeah. So, I just think it was a matter of wrong player, wrong team. Not necessarily because Onuachu just posed a massive issue for him on that one play. Because to be honest with you, I don't think he was poor defensively after that or before that. He sets up the chance for Mateta when we talk about the chance that the great save. So going forward is okay. He had 83% passing, which for him is excellent. 4 recoveries. He was targeted for the press, no doubt. You're right. He passes the ball. I mentioned it yesterday in the post match, sideways and backward. But for him to be up against a player maybe a foot taller than him is not his fault. I mean, we all know, and I thought about it after. I think at that point, Lacroix, who was out of position, might have just thought Richards was behind him because that's what we normally is behind him, and Richards clears up ball every time. Well, 9 out of 10 times. Do you know what I mean? So
he's
it's just
strong
the
enough
wrong
to
player, wrong time.
put someone off.
Exactly. So for me, I can't kill Klein for the goal because again, if he's in the right position, he's not out jumping on a Wachu. It's never going to happen. So that goal aside, I thought Klein was okay. He really was. But
I didn't even know people were blaming Klein.
No, I don't think they necessarily. Oh, I'm just saying he happened to be the closest player to Onuachu, and he's the right centre back. And you know what I mean? When the switch happens, it's Richards normally. You know what I mean? So,
I was kind of thinking no one really has a right to win a header over Onuachu anyway.
Fair play, even Lacroix, you're right, or definitely not Gay.
If he times his header right, you're not going to beat him.
No chance. And again, that was the one thing I was fearing that Southampton would do, and they did because honestly, Fernandez offside, they didn't really pose. Like I just said, they only had 2 shots on goal and scored 1. One of them's the header by Onuachu. The other one I think was. Can't even remember. I think it was a Fernandez shot. Can't remember. Do you know what I mean? My point is they didn't pose that many issues defensively. It's just the one stupid goal and us fighting for 90 plus 2 minutes to get back into the game. So again, I'm not going to kill Klein on that. So anyway, let's move on to the other 2 centre halves. We'll go with Lacroix first. I gave it 6 and I gave it 6. You go first and I'll pull up a graphic on as far as like how he did as far as duels won, etc. But go ahead.
I think he lost a battle a bit with Onuachu, and I think his frustration got the better of him. You can always tell when your player's about to give away a foul. You just know. You can see the frustration because they want to win the ball back. Onuachu's big, strong guy, but I don't think he had a bad game. Yeah, like you said, he won the most duels. But yeah. It's kind of just one of those games you want to put behind you.
Yeah, it really comes down to that one goal. If they don't score that one goal, we score 1-0 clean sheet, 2 goals, 2 shots on net. You know what I'm saying? It's funny. The perception of the game changes based again. Not that we played great because we didn't, but my point: perception of the game changing because of that one incident and that one goal. They peppered us is different, but literally it comes down to a great cross by Fernandez, a great header by Onuachu, and then us looking at the defense gave up a goal. So. Is it Henderson? Is it Lacroix? Is it Klein, etc.? But going again to the stats, 4 tackles, 1, 90% passing. I thought that they did a good job, the back three, of kind of trying to dictate the pace between Gahey and Lacroix more than even Klein. 88 touches, 2 blocks, 6 clearances, an interception, 3 recoveries. Again, 5 out of 8 ground duels, 1. He was very good defensively. Onuachu did win, was a physical presence, but he actually didn't win that many headers over Lacroix. So again, I would go to the last centre back. That would be Mark Gahey. I gave him 7. You gave him 6.5. Again, he had 82 out of 90 passing, 103 touches in the game. We definitely tried to play through him more because of the fact we're trying to build up from the back. He had the most passes in the game. He had 4 clearances, 8 recoveries, 4 ground duels, 1. I thought Gahey played really well yesterday. I don't think you could name. I guess it would have been Fernandez on his side or KWP, but they didn't really do much in the game besides the one incident. But your thoughts on Mark Gahey yesterday?
Our best player on the pitch. Obviously, he's not my man of the match because someone else is just for a moment. But yeah, best player on our pitch. Again. No matter what, other people's standards drop, other people get tired. He doesn't. He's a captain. He leads by example. We was having a little debate in the pub for the game. Who's our best, most important player apart from Zaha in our Premier League era? And I said Mark Gahey. It's opinions.
No, I like it. You know what I like about him? He's very understated. Like I said, he could have pushed for moving in the summer to go to Newcastle. He didn't. He's very quiet, respectful, exactly. Intelligent, smart kid. I was watching something today was on. He did an interview with former Palace winger. What's his name again? The Jinky Dinky one. What's his name again? He went to Spurs.
Went to Spurs.
Palace winger, yeah. Palace winger went to Spurs. It will come to me, or someone in the chat might put in later on.
How long ago?
This like a week and a half ago. It was maybe a Sky Sports
Oh,
and he was
Routledge done it.
Did Wayne go to? Did he go to Spurs or no?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. And during the interview, he was talking about how he was raised African family, blah blah blah.
Yeah, they played together at Swansea.
That too, bingo. Swansea, but I definitely, but for some reason Spurs sticks on my head. But yeah, so my point is that he talks about how he was raised and education was very foremost in his family's thing. So my point is, you're right. He's a very respectful person. Would never push for a move, etc. So listen, I love Mark Gahey, and that's why he's our captain. Midfield 2, quickly. Wharton, 6.5 from me, 6 from you. You go first. Any thoughts on Wharton versus Southampton?
I think he's frustrated at himself that he can't. He hasn't really controlled the last couple games. Even the Ipswich one, I think he struggled a bit with his passing. Very frustrated that there wasn't much movement. You saw a few times he likes to get the ball and move it really quickly. Wharton is not a player who takes 3-4 touches. Right. You saw him frustrated with the tackle when he overcommitted. And then again, it takes away. He likes playing on the edge, and it kind of takes it away from him. Still, if something was going to happen, I felt it was going to come through him. If the creativity was going to come, if something was going to break the line, he still had some really good passes. I really want to see him back with Hughes, if I'm being honest. I think Lerma's done really well, but I feel like Hughes lets him be himself a little bit more. I feel like when he's in there with Lerma, he has to be like Hughes and Wharton, and Hughes is more likely to take a yellow card for him and stuff like that. But it wasn't a bad performance. It's tough. It's tough, this one, because I really don't want to say anything bad about the player, because I know how tough it is. He's still coming back from injury, and all is forgiven if they do the job on Saturday.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, you really nailed a lot of the points. And again, I think he does misuse. I give him credit for a couple of things. One, his passing was much better than it was against Fulham. 89%. He only misplaced 5 passes in the high game.
So.
Put 7 into the final third. Defensively, all over the place. 2 clearances, an interception, 4 recoveries, 4 out of 8 duels, 1, and the yellow card which he got, which is really funny, happened around the same point in Fulham. He didn't at no point during that second rest of that game did he even look like he was going to make a foul that was getting him a second yellow. He was. So my point, he's learning how to deal with it better. He didn't make a rash challenge. He wasn't petulant or kick it. You know what I mean? I like that about him. A match later, he was like, okay, I know what I did wrong last time. I'm going to play my game, but not let it get to me. So I thought that was very maturity from him. But go ahead. One
thing I do realize is teams are targeting him more though. They're not giving 100%.
Him room. That's a great point.
They're not giving him room. And also they're knocking him down. There's a few times I think he took about 2 or 3 knocks. There was one point in the first half where he was limping for about 5 minutes. I still don't think he's hit that, because he is an athlete in terms of he can run all game. I still don't think he can't last a game, because 1-0 down at Southampton, and it's not. I think it's really good that the manager can trust Aveni to come on, but that's not a sub you'd make if you was 1-0 down.
Normally,
yeah. So, but yeah, hopefully, next couple of games, we're gonna need him for that semi-final. Because their midfielders are yeah. So as long as like you said, we've got like 7 games before that, so.
Which is crazy, but anyway, we'll get to another time. His midfield partner, Jefferson Lerma, I gave him a 6-7. You gave him a 6. You want to go first on Jefferson Lerma?
Do you know what? If I was to do it again, I'd probably give him a 6.5, 7, because
fair.
He's
did well.
Yeah, he's doing well. He got an assist, great cross.
Brilliant cross, by the way. Yeah.
And if Wharton's doing Hughes and is trying to do Hughes' job, he's trying to do everyone's job. He's taking long throws. He's assisting. He's volleying. He's covering every blade of grass. He's going to right centre back. He's winning balls in the air. He's cutting out. He's doing everything. And again, another player who has been travelling with Colombia. Like you said, there was a few of them passes in the first half where I was just like, oh, what did he even see? So what did you see, Lerma, like to make that pass? When he tries those crossfield balls and he manages to get snow on them in April. Yeah, but other than that, like you said, he's so important to our team and squad. I can live with some of the stray passing.
So a couple of things. I noticed that early in the game, he was dropping into the back there to get the ball, which he doesn't normally do, which is interesting. You're right. I wrote down he hit an early long ball that was so poor. But his first half passing, Lou, was 80%. So his passing has gotten better. It ended up being 76%. But he actually is. I'm starting to notice a definite improvement in his passing, which is great. Again, you mentioned he had the great assist, but defensively, again, stalwart. 2 out of 2 tackles, 1, 5 clearances, 4 recoveries. 4 out of 7 ground duels, 2 out of 2 aerial duels, 1. Dropped into the back, 3. Obviously, when we subbed off Klein. The guy is a Swiss Army knife who plays forever. You mentioned before we started about making more changes. I would like to see that guy get rest, but 1, I'm not sure he needs it, and 2, he just doesn't stop running.
Maybe Saturday.
I think Saturday would be a great time to give him a rest. I agree. Let's move on to Ebbs. Both gave him a 5. Didn't think he played great. 4 free kicks. He had a shot that was set up, I think, by Sarr early second half.
Terrible.
Should have scored that goal. Should have scored. Stats wise, real quick. So, 80% passing, decent, but crossing was poor. 0 for 2 in crossing. 3 out of 5 successful dribbles, good for him. Only 3 passes into the final third. He could have got more involved in the game. Did work well defensively, 7 recoveries, but it wasn't overall a great game. But again, he just came up a brilliant game. Fulham. Could he have needed a rest? Yeah, maybe. So I'll put that on. Maybe that was the reason why. But your thoughts on Ebbs against Southampton?
I have 0 criticism of Ebbs yesterday. Fair. I have 0. What I watched on Saturday is what I watch football. It's what football is to me. Right. So I will not. This is a blight. We all know what Eze done on Wednesday. That we don't need to break it down, because what he done on Saturday is what, when it matters, when it meant everything to us.
Everything to us, right?
Yeah,
he came through.
There's people the way people are talking about that Fulham game, like it was. Winning a trophy means everything to all of us. And if we do it or we get to the final, that performance will be etched. Just like Chris Armstrong when he hit it into the stanchion. Into the stanchion.
Yeah.
That is the same thing that will happen with Eze. So I don't care about that Southampton performance.
Or Ian Wright's 2 goals in the final. Coming on the sub. That's what I mean. Things stick in your mind as long as you're right. Yeah. So
no one's going to remember that Southampton game. No one. So.
Exactly. Ismailia Sarr, 5.5 from me, 5 from you. You go first on Sarr. How do you think he played yesterday?
I thought he was quite poor. We was giving him plaudits for improving his play when his back's to goal. I feel like the first half was a lot of loose touches, but some nice good touches. It's frustrating because he probably looked like the biggest threat in our team who was going to create something. He laid it off on a plate for Eze, so that should have really been an assist.
Should have been a goal. Yeah.
The time where he bursted into the box, I think we nearly got a penalty. I never saw a replay on that. I don't know. Did it look like?
Yeah, I thought first was, but when I watched the replay, it wasn't a penalty. But I mean, I know why he went down. There was contact, but not a penalty.
My only gripe with Sarr is he's so fast, but he really doesn't like taking people on one-on-one. He just really doesn't. I don't know what it is. If it's a confidence issue or I don't know. But again, Ismaila Sarr scored 2 goals against Brighton. He scored the winner against Ipswich. And he scored a header in the FA Cup quarterfinals to help us go to Wembley.
Right.
Don't matter what you done, Sarr. It's all right. Rest up. I'll see you at Brighton for number 2. That's all.
I'm not going to add anything else. I think I'm not going to throw any stats out there. You're right. He didn't have a great game, but again, I'm not going to. He could have easily gotten an assist, and then we would be talking about it differently. So yeah. Jean-Philippe Mateta, 6.5 from me, 5 from you. I'll go first because I thought Mateta had a good game for someone coming off that injury. That first half run and shot, geez Louise, that goes in first half. I mean, first minute or second minute. Brilliant by him. I underside of the bar, almost went in. Had another chance later. We mentioned the one that Ramsdale made a great save on. wasn't as involved as he liked to have been, but I honestly thought that he did a really good job of the opportunities that he was given on on creating those two chances, almost scoring. He's almost back to where we hope he'll be. Much more involved, I thought, than he was against Fulham. Again, we need to get him more opportunities, either via Eze or Wharton or Saar. But I thought yesterday he played pretty well. But your thoughts on JP?
Do you know what? I remember the reverse fixture, and he absolutely bullied Bednarek to bits. Like Bednarek would have to foul him. I think Bednarek might have got the best of him a bit yesterday. He was frustrating him.
Sure. Yeah, better for sure.
The water polo gear probably really isn't helping at all. Yeah, it's annoying because that kick was so annoying because he was in a ridiculous run of form, like ridiculous, and it's kind of knocked him out of stride. And like we said, to win this trophy, we're going to have all our players probably playing at the top of their game. Even the bench players have got to be at the top of their game as well
to contribute.
Like I said, Mateus he's given us so many moments this season. I'm not going to sit here and break down his faults, because he's never ever looked like he's not trying, or he's still putting everything into it. So yeah, I'm cool with it. I'm cool. Let's get another goal against Brighton on Saturday. That's all I care about.
I hear you. So let's go to the subs. Start with Ben Chilwell. 5 from both of us. So people talking about, we should have made some changes, etc. And I'm not saying that if Chilwell had started, it could have been different, but I haven't seen enough from him in the cameos that he's made to show me that he deserves to play over Mitchell, because Mitchell's defensive work is so stellar. I thought Walker Peters, I shouldn't call him KWP, gave Chilwell in 32 minutes a run for his life. I can't imagine what he would have done if he was on there from the first minute. It scared me. Every time we went at him, he would think. And the stats, he had 10 out of 15 passing, 28 touches, 0 good crosses. Again, he had a couple of crosses that he had plenty of time to put in the box, and they were very poor. The same thing we killed Mitchell about, not being able to put not them good passes. Made 2 tackles, 2 out of 2, made 3 recoveries, and 1 2 out of 5 ground duels. But I didn't see enough out of him. We'll give him credit for one thing that's important. He did set up Nketiah for that shot that went over the bar, which was a really nice setup. But I didn't see enough out of Mitchell to say to myself, okay, you know what? Against Brighton, let's give Mitchell a rest. But what about you?
I think the only way he could have started if they played Mitchell left centre back. That's the only viable option for me, because, like I said, I've always been an advocate. I think Mitchell's more of a left centre back than he is a flying left wing back. But he is what that in between is just a traditional back 4 left back. But that's not what we play, so we'll just make him do. I think Chilwell is harsh because he hasn't played for ages and he's still not really had a run of games. So you're probably not going to see the best of him until he has a run of games. But I'm a big believer of earning the right to play. And Mitchell earns the right to play every single week, and he has done over the past how many seasons?
Right. So,
yeah, Chilwell, it was hard to come on in that situation. We weren't playing very well.
It was.
But yeah, you said, me personally, I didn't even think Mitchell was the sub. And maybe he was tired. And obviously the sports science probably said, listen, if you want him to play Saturday to a decent level against flying Brighton wingers, take him off now. Right. But I didn't actually think Mitchell was the problem really yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I don't think. See, we'll get to the manager later. I don't think a lot of the subs were a problem. I think he wanted just either sports science wise or just, you know what, let me try something different and see what happens. So from there, so let's get to the next sub. I thought had a good cameo, which is Eddie Nketiah, 6.5 from both of us. The shot I mentioned, very close
at the end.
At the end, he made a great run down the side where he was fouled for a free kick. Ebbs took. Oh my god, what an awful.
That's when I started. That's when I started arguing with that person, because the guy started shouting. Yeah, but just before, when you see T, I said, T, I bet you £1 million this is going out. Like, he's going to overhit this. Because what he does, he tries to get too much on it. He overdoes it.
Right. And then he also had that play when he ran down Ramsdale, tried down the ball and almost got the rebound score. So I thought in the time that he was in there, I thought Nketiah, you really did a good job of getting yourself involved and putting yourself out. And you mentioned earlier before about JP being injured. I totally agree with you. It's been it's not been great. But the only benefit I will say from it is that Nketiah has shown, to me anyway, at least, that he's definitely not available, able to step in, which I think is a great thing. It's a shame it happened under those circumstances, but again, credit to Nketiah. But what are your thoughts on Eddie?
I really liked his cameo. When you see players who aren't getting much minutes and then they come on with that enthusiasm, his first couple of touches were poor. He gave the ball away twice. And normally as a sub, you want your first few touches to be secure, play your way into the game. Yep. But he didn't let that get him down. He was a willing runner. He chased lost causes. He looked I don't know, he looked quite quick yesterday. He looked quicker than usual yesterday. Great snapshot at the end. And he's probably one of the reasons why we got the goal, because he changed the tide of the game. I would almost say he put him... I think Glasner's one of those people. He sees that performance, and if Eddie's on fire in training as well, I don't think Glasner would be afraid to start him.
He started at 10 when he first got here, so absolutely right. I agree with that.
Yeah, so
at 10 for so long.
So, like you said, you earned the right to play, and that performance was heading towards earning the right to play.
And we're going to have, you mentioned there are 7 games between now and the semi. If he doesn't play against Brighton, you're going to have a Newcastle midweek game, an Arsenal midweek game. There were games where he'll definitely say, you know what, give JP that rest and let him start.
And maybe it's roles reversal, and the same way he got the best out of JP when he gave him a little rest and drop and said, listen, you're our main man, but you're coming back into form. So just... I generally would not be pissed off if he decided to start Eddie on Saturday. I wouldn't.
Same way. I wouldn't have an issue with that. We'll go on to the next sub, Daichi Kamada. Thought he had, again, a solid cameo. Feel bad for him because he's not getting a chance to start, but when he does come on, he's solid. 31 minutes, 14 out of 17 passes, 82%, 22 touches, 1 tackle, clearance, recovery, interception, 2 out of 3 ground duels, 1. Solid defensively, solid on the ball. I thought he was very positive with his passing too. Again, you mentioned Eddie, getting us back into that game coming on. He was a positive sub. But your thoughts on Daichi?
I really liked his cameo. I think he still struggles with the timing of challenges.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Just the timing of challenges. Sometimes it just requires standing up and not putting your foot in. But yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was positive. Every time he got on the ball, he looked to turn. He wasn't shying away from the ball, and I think he'd done exactly what Glasner wanted him to do when he came on.
I agree. I'll go to Justin Devaney next because there's nothing really to talk about. Because I want to say the best sub for last, and that would be Matheus Franca. I'm very jealous, Lou, that you, T, and D got to see his first goal, and I'll let you go first because you were there. So tell us about that, Franca.
First of all, he needs to put the right boots on.
I thought the chat you said in the chat. I kept slipping.
Honestly, because I remember when I used to play, the manager would say before the game, this pitch is for studs. If you wear molds and you start slipping, you're coming off. That was it. If you wear molds and it's fine, I won't say anything. But if you get on that pitch and you start slipping over in critical positions, I'm taking you off because this pitch requires a stud. As soon as he came on and he slipped over, I said, he's got molds on. I could see from where we were. And then he slipped again. And then he slipped again, but luckily the ball went into Eddie and a chance nearly happened. But yeah, the goal, what a goal. Great header, brave. And I said he would have a moment. I had someone reply to me on Twitter saying it's not a season-defining moment. Well, no, it might be.
It's a moment. And exactly, we don't know yet.
It could be, because it could spark something that ignites him and he goes on a good run, or it could have been the point we needed to then push on in other games. All I know that was a massive moment in the season, and I felt that he was going to get one of those.
I'm very happy for the kid. Forgot to mention when I first started the show yesterday with Hambo that it was his birthday on April 1st. He had a child 2 weeks ago, and he scores his first goal. I mean, come on. And he's been through so much. I love what Glasser said in the post-match of Pavard. He's been out for 10 months, and the way he fought back and the positivity he's shown towards the kid in his comeback about how he's going to get him in. I'm so happy for the kid. I mean, listen, the HF's gone way early on the song, but I loved hearing it yesterday. They've gone way early. My man of the match, your man of the match, both gave him an 8. The fans popped the website. I'm just happy for the kid. Listen, you're right. Is it season defining? We don't know yet. But for that player yesterday, that moment, you could already see it's massive for him. Yeah. Again, self-deprecating kid. Didn't want to go to the crowd. You see JP pushing him towards the crowd. You know what I mean? Scores a goal, grabs the ball under, puts under his belly. Jefferson Lerman running him back. He knows to get back to, get another goal. Listen, I love the moment. I loved it. And again, would I want to win that game yesterday? Of course. But if you gave me the option of winning that game 5-0, I'm not going to lie to you, or 1-1 with a France goal, I'm taking a 1-1. I'm not going to lie to you because that moment means so much for that kid, and I'm a big fan of that kid. So
that's I think in terms of draws, I've never seen Glasner that happy with a draw. By the way,
exactly.
Like genuinely, he was very pleased.
Could you understand the circumstances? That kid, and also the Fulham match and how close it was, etc. But again, he's a manager that gets it. So let's get to him. Actually, I gave him an 8. You gave him a 7. Real quickly, I thought the fourth lineup change of Klein was difficult to deal with, and we did the best we could. No Hughes was a problem. I thought that we dominated possession, which I liked. The subs are very impactful. When he had to make the subs, he did. We just went through them, obviously. Chilwell and Nketiah, Kamada, and of course, France being the biggest one with the goal. We've gone to 40 points. Still undefeated away this year. What is it? 2 losses in 16 matches. It wasn't a 10 out of 10. Oh my God, I gave him an 8. I thought the manager was fine. I don't know what he could have done differently, honestly. You could tell. Could he have made some changes to the lineup? Yes. But in hindsight, I don't know what more he could have really done. So I'm happy with the point. I would have preferred the 3, but your thoughts on Glasner before we wrap it up?
I'm always giving him a 10. So I just thought, I don't know if there's more he could have done, but I maybe would have. That's just me being a bit picky. Maybe a formation change. I think
really formation change. Yeah. What would you have thought about it? Go ahead, give me just real quick. What would you have thought about?
Me personally, I would have taken Klein off at halftime, maybe, and gone 4-4-2, and played. Let Mitchell be a natural left back. Let Munoz be a natural, and stretch them with Sarr on the right. And
that's fair with Mateta in the beginning.
Mateta and Nketiah. I don't think they posed a threat enough up front for us to need 3 centre backs.
That's fair.
Yeah,
he did that against Leicester and got back in the game. I remember. So and maybe even put. Yeah, I didn't really like Sarr right wing back. Maybe or maybe have put Sarr and Mateta up front. I just maybe wanted a little bit different, but that's just me nitpicking. That's fair. That's it for the play range. I want to thank Lou. I know he's had a long day with the traveling back. I appreciate you jumping on. Again, remember to like, subscribe. We appreciate all your support. There will be more content coming out. Don't know when this is going to be out. It might be out with the Brighton
tomorrow morning
review. Hopefully tomorrow morning. But that's it for me and Lou. We'll be back, I think, for the Brighton. We're doing the Brighton ratings, right? If we win,
Brighton Sunday.
If we lose, not so much. I'm just joking. But anyway, that's it for us. Until next time, up the Palace.